So good morning, everyone. Jiffin just brought up that the Cozy website is outdated. I think this is the one. Yeah, there it is. Jeff, and should remove all this. Okay, so what we'll do. Yeah, I think this. Yeah, that's the one. Let's see, pages. Just turn it off. Is that right? Your site is published here.
Yeah, at least for some time or something like that.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how to undo this.
Yeah.
There should be an option, right? Does anyone know? So GitHub pages is currently the website. We archive this for now. Let's find out. Stop publishing. GitHub website. Who knows? Does anyone know? No. Unpublishing. Okay, there you go. In code and operation section, server click pages under GitHub pages source drop down menu and select none. Oh, okay, there's a none branch. Great. There you go. It was the other option. Main page of the repository. Delete the branch you're using, but delete the entire repository. Some domain enable to order domain update your DNS settings. I see. Okay. All right. So the only option we have is to delete it. I actually don't mind deleting it. We can, since everything has changed, I think it's fine to restart from scratch. And I have a copy locally. Let me make sure of that. Yeah, I do. Great. I'm just gonna bring it to master. Yep. So latest commit is here. Everyone okay with that? Getting rid of this website. We'll create a new one all the way from scratch when we're ready again.
What do you mean you're deleting the whole repository? What does that?
So we have.
It's like a.
Yeah, this is not official. We have actually we have quite a bit of information here. So this is just a lot of information about how Cozy was designed before, how to get started. I think, yeah. Okay, so now that I think about it, I'm glad we went over this.
So do you want to just mark something like deprecating instead of deleting the whole thing? Maybe you can, I don't know what is the easy way. I didn't know I don't know how you publish this one, so I'm not sure what's involved.
So it's just on GitHub. So you just create a repository by this name, it'll automatically get published. But see, the way Grant set up Cozy is by following these talks.
Oh, so that's actually still useful. So,
it's actually useful,
I'm saying, right? Maybe you don't want to delete the whole thing, right? Then people don't have anything to follow.
I think you're right. So, so Jiffin, how about this? Right now, this is, what is here is what is reflected in the code base. So right now,
that's true. Yeah, that's
kind of valid in a sense. I mean, there are some parts which are not, but that's okay, I think.
Okay, sure.
Or maybe there are like a certain section that are outdated. You can just add some deprecated, add a note next to it so people are aware of that or something.
Yeah, I think.
Any particular section that are totally outdated?
Yeah, like this is outdated. I think we should, yeah, or I think we can just update it. The only reason we're not doing it is because we have to get back some information back from the review.
Right. I know. I'll just, yeah. Are there anything that is, you think it's just too outdated that you just want to add a note at least? I don't know if that's helpful, but if this whole thing is helpful, like Grant actually was able to set up something following this, and it's still good to keep it.
Right.
Yeah, I used this a lot when I was working on it.
Okay. I'm happy to hear that. So yeah, we are a little behind on updating this website, mostly because our design is still kind of in flux. So yeah, but I'm glad it helped you, Grant. That was the intention. All right. So for those of you who joined just now, or maybe after I was talking about the review process, our next step is really getting our review. We haven't heard back from the reviewers from 2 weeks ago, after the meeting 2 weeks ago, where Michelle was here. I wasn't sure if she'll be able to join today. I was hoping she would, because I think that seems to speed up the review process. I've been reaching out to her twice this week. I've done it. I think she's very busy, but I think yesterday she said that she'll be able to find some time to take a look at this. But as of right now, unless someone has something to bring up, we're exactly where we were last week. At least next week, we'll have the opportunity to bring up Cozy during the SIG storage meeting, and have others take a look. But as of right now, we not much has changed. So what I was planning was we'll reconvene next week when the review is done, and I'm fairly positive it'll be we'll have someone take a look at it, and next week at least there's something actionable. There'll be a SIG storage meeting where I can bring it up. So if not for the review, is there anything else anyone wants to bring up? Any such questions about the design? We can spend this time to explain any of the parts of the design that you're wondering about. You're trying to see why it was built the way it was. Any suggestions? It's a good time for all that now. Okay. All right. So Shing, is there anything we should you want us to discuss other than the review part?
I don't have anything really, just that's the most important things to get the review done, get the cap in.
Yeah. How about Ben or Jiffen? Any of the I believe the PR was merged for the gRPC namespace reservation. Is that right?
Yeah,
I mean,
Grant's his PR, right? Yes, I think that's merged.
Right. That is good news.
Yeah, it should be in there.
That's good. All right. Yeah, and I saw that. And I saw that you auto-generated the files and rest of the stuff. So yeah, I was wondering if I had these docs in place already, but luckily it was there.
Yeah, it took some changing on my local machine to get it working. But yeah, the steps mostly worked. I think it's just something was up with my machine.
Okay, good to know. All right. So there is another thing we can discuss, which is, so we are all agreeing on this design more or less. I mean, really, the reviewers are not going to have this fundamentally change. If anything, there are going to be minor changes here and there. I think it's okay to start developing and writing code already, even though review isn't done. I think that's okay. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it then. Happy to hear that. All right.
Yeah, like at least we can remove the things, right, which is not valid anymore. like
Right.
the bucket access request and all those stuff.
Sorry, what is that?
Like the bucket access request APIs, those things can be removed, right? The things, yeah, which are pretty sure like it will be removed. Those can be, and
Right.
maybe you can update the docs as well.
Right. Right. I agree with you entirely. Okay, so here's the things that need to move in lockstep when changing the API. So if you're changing the API, and we could be changing the API but not changing the gRPC spec. So if you're not changing the gRPC spec, it's easier. But here's the API repository. Yeah, we can go ahead and change the API, but once we do that, we'll have to go ahead and update every other project, because every other project depends on this. Otherwise, anyone who pulls code, I think GoGet by default tries to get the latest one. It will fail. I think it also does some kind of constraint matching nowadays, so I think we should be okay on that front too. But I would say once we change the API, we should also immediately update the rest of the repositories. So I like what Jiffin was saying. So Jiffin, can I rely on you to remove whatever is not being used? So we're not using bucket requests anymore. We're not using bucket access requests anymore. We're calling.
Yeah, like bucket request, we are renaming it to bucket claim, right?
Right.
So yeah, I'll look on the bucket access request and I'll try to remove it from the code and see.
And the other thing is bucket access is defined as a non-namespaced object in the old definition. So this needs to be changed to a namespaced one, and there are fields that have changed. It's not the same as what it was before. So we need to make sure that is done correctly as well. Yeah, that's about it. I think API wise, classes are pretty much the same. Nothing has changed on the class front. But there are some changes in how the bucket claim and bucket access work. So just make sure those things are taken care of carefully. I think the most important thing there is just that we pay some attention to detail, and that's about it. Yeah. And then we had a generic controller pre-built so that anyone could just implement the controller rather than having to use the operator framework or anything like that. I don't think any changes are needed here. I'm not sure. Just make sure this is also taken care of. If you're updating the API. Yeah. And then we have the controller repository. So I'm just going over the code so that people, wow, it's 2 years old. I'm just going over the code so that people can, whoever wants to contribute can get started quickly. Everywhere we follow the regular, the standard Kubernetes way of writing code, as in the way we distribute the responsibility into packages. So, command, package, it all means the exact same thing that you would expect it to mean. Yeah. So once the API is updated, we'll have to update the controllers here. I think we can move the specific controllers under package controllers. We have bucket requests and bucket access requests here. Yeah. So this needs to be updated. So what will be the responsibility of the controller now that we don't have a bucket request or a bucket access request? As in, bucket claim will lead to the creation of a bucket. So that part is pretty straightforward. So the controller will be responsible listening to bucket claim events and creating bucket objects in response, or creating the actual bucket and its corresponding bucket object in response to that bucket claim. Right?
like attaching
What's
bucket claim to the bucket as well, right? Like you can.
Sorry, what is that?
There was some like the people can create bucket and then create the bucket claim, right? Like it can be other way
Right,
around
right.
as well. Right?
Yeah, I was getting to that. Yeah, good point. So, what's the latest decision on that? What did we decide? It escapes my memory right now, but let's take a look. So that would be existing buckets. Oh yeah. So for existing buckets, we said we will point in the bucket claim. We have an existing bucket name, and we point to that.
Yeah. Right.
So on the controller, we'll have a bucket claim. Sorry, on the controller, yeah. On the controller, we have a bucket claim listener, which has two things it does. One is it's a new bucket, it goes and creates the intermediate bucket object. If it's an existing bucket, it just binds. And while binding, here's a tricky thing. So given that we're always this is what we wanted, right? We're always using a bucket claim to access a bucket. That means bucket access always just can point to a bucket claim, and bucket claim points to the bucket. So if you're going to use the bucket from multiple namespaces, you're going to end up having multiple references to the bucket. So knowing who the accessors are, how do we go about that? So let's say we want to delete the bucket, we need to make sure nobody's using the bucket when it's deleted, correct?
The question of deletion it's a policy one, right? You can make the policy decision however you want.
Okay,
You can
let's
decide
say
to delete it out from under people. You can try not to delete it out from under people. Either way, there's downsides, right? If you can't delete it as long as someone's accessing it, then a malicious user can prevent you from deleting a bucket. Or if you can delete it while someone's accessing it, then a malicious user can delete your bucket. Either way, malicious users can do bad things.
Sure. I was coming more from an implementation perspective. How do we implement this situation where we want to make sure we don't delete it if someone's using it? I mean, there are many solutions, but we need to kind of round in on one.
Well, it depends what you mean by using. If it's the mere existence of a bucket access, you should be able to
Fair enough. So
search for bucket accesses that refer to it, and you put a finalizer on it, and then only remove the finalizer when you've confirmed that there's no bucket accesses referring to it, and that would
so for each bucket access, we have a finalizer on the bucket, correct?
Not for each one, just one finalizer that says bucket is accessed. Yeah.
And then how do we figure out the list of accessors?
You scan all the accessors in the whole cluster. It's the only way.
Across all namespaces, right?
Yeah. I mean, the controller would have an in-memory cache of all of the bucket accesses in the whole cluster that would be continually updated by an informer, and so you would just do a scan of that in-memory data structure.
Okay.
But you could even potentially have like an indexed hash table to rapidly scan it.
I think we can just use the existing indexer, right?
I don't know. I mean, there's various ways, but the point is, it's the responsibility of whatever controller puts the finalizer on and takes the finalizer off to be able to determine when to take it on and off.
Yeah. I think that's the best way. All right.
But then you also need to be careful about never allowing a bucket access to refer to a bucket that is being deleted, right?
Bucket access. Yeah. As soon as a bucket is marked with the deletion timestamp, I don't think we're gonna allow any new bucket claims to bind to it,
right?
Or bucket access to access it.
But you have to implement that somewhere, right? The thing that handles bucket accesses has to look at the deletion timestamp and refuse to do anything if it's set.
That will be a part of the controller too. The controller, if it sees that the bucket
Well,
access,
there's going to be 2 or possibly even 3 controllers, right? There's the main controller that deals with bucket claims and buckets, and then the sidecar that deals with only buckets, and then a potentially other sidecar that deals with bucket accesses. But that would definitely be a sidecar, because right,
Oh, okay. So when I said controller, I just meant like the binary, not like individual listeners.
Right, but there's more than one binary.
There's just 2 actually. So what was the third one?
Well, it could be as little as 2. It depends how you want to structure your sidecars. Like within the CSI world, we decided to separate out, provisioning from attaching. There's 2 separate sidecars that do those things, and there's even a third and a fourth sidecar that do resizing and snapshotting, and that's how they've decided to do it on the CSI side. We could have one giant sidecar that does all of the things, or split it out similarly.
Right. So I think it's okay to start with one sidecar right now. I'm just saying that because I don't see them as having different responsibilities. The only thing our sidecar does is, well, there's two things it does. One is create the bucket or manage buckets. The other is manage access. But they're all for the same driver. Isn't it? Why add the moving pieces?
I think in the case of CSI, it was because there do exist some drivers that can only attach and detach and can't create and delete. And there's some that can't snapshot, and there's some that can't resize. And so each sidecar sort of represents optional functionality. One could imagine a cozy driver that only knows how to deal with bucket accesses and then doing attaches and detaches and doesn't know how to create or delete buckets. So it's just an attaching just an attaching driver and not a provisioning driver.
Understood.
If we wanted to enable something like that, then it would make sense to split the functionality out.
Yeah, but why 2 services? You could do that in the in one binary itself.
You could. I'm just saying how the CSI guys did it.
Yeah. Why? Do you know why they did it? Like why didn't they just have it in one giant binary?
Simplicity and modularity. Like a sidecar that just does one thing is still thousands of lines of code. It's none of this stuff is easy.
Right.
And so to try to cram multiple things into one binary makes it that much harder to wrap your mind around. But if we can manage to wrap everything Cozy does into one sidecar, which I think we can, then that's great.
Yeah, fair enough. I buy all these arguments. Yeah. The other way is also not so bad. Having everything in one binary is also not terrible. That's why I was curious. Anyway, so then I think we have a clear approach on how we're going to handle deletions, which is we're going to have an index informer. So a local cache, in-memory cache of the current state of all the bucket accesses in the system. And whenever a bucket deletion starts up, we make sure that no bucket access is pointing to that bucket which is going to be deleted. And if not, we wait until that's true. So how do we wait until that's true? So do we just kind of respond to every bucket access update event?
Every creation or deletion of a bucket access should trigger a check that the finalizer that the related bucket's finalizer might need to be removed or created.
Okay. Right? That works. Yeah. Okay, so there's the complexity. I mean, it's not super simple anymore.
I guarantee you it's going to be more complex than you can possibly imagine. Yeah. based on all the code I've seen in CSI, like really, really simple things take 1,000 lines of code.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so getting back, so All right, who can I ask to work on this? So I'm also going to be working on all of this, just to be clear. But I do encourage everyone else to contribute. Grant, I know you made some PRs recently. Would you be interested in helping me out on the controller side of things?
Yeah, I can help. I helped with the snapshot controller in the past as well, so I can
Sweet.
help.
Thanks. Okay. So we have more people here. So I'm going to be signing up more people. All right. So then once that is done, we have the sidecar. What did we call it? Cozy sidecar adapter.
Provisioner.
Provisioner sidecar. Yeah, there you go. All right, the sidecar's job now, I mean, it's remained the same, which is to provision buckets, go talk to the backend and create the actual bucket. And the other one is to provision access, talk to the backend and create access credentials and so on, and revoke it. So this was even back then not fully done. The creation and deletion of buckets was in good shape, but bucket access creation and deletion wasn't really anywhere good, I think. That's the best I remember. So we had a bunch of issues with the life cycle of bucket access. Oh, right, and also we didn't have a concept of IAM based access back then. So yeah, so that also needs to be taken care of here. So this also needs an update. The functions are not like I earlier said, it's not what I earlier said that it's going to remain pretty much the same is not true. There are changes needed here quite a bit. So on this side, we need to deal with IAM based authentication, and also we need to make sure we update it to reflect whatever changes are going to be made in the API. So I mean, that's at the high level what needs to be done here. And I can see that Blaine is here, and Blaine has always contributed to us. So Blaine, can I ask you to help here?
I think I have too many other tasks on my.
No worries at all. Yeah, no, I understand. Sorry. No, that's why I didn't ask Ben either up front. Generally, Ben is very, very busy. But Ben, how about you?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was gonna say, I can't.
It's okay. This is yeah. I didn't. You know, I can cover it. You know, I can cover for anyone anything that's needed. It was more of a making sure we had things planned, and whoever can contribute. It's easier if I just ask directly rather than asking people to sign up, only because the code is kind of stale, and we kind of have to figure things out all over again. Nobody has this code in context or in mind yet at this point. So yeah, that's why I went about this approach of asking directly. And it's totally okay to say no. So anyways, okay, that's the state of things. I'm glad we went over the code today. So let's continue waiting for the review. And next week, you know, everyone, I encourage you to show up at the SIG storage meeting. And I'll definitely be bringing up this review for Cozy. And yeah, let's try to push over there. And I was also wondering, this is a question for you, Shing. Should we ping Saad to take a look, maybe, if Michelle is?
I think you should just
Wait.
you know, yeah, because since Michelle has already gone very deep with this.
Okay.
but if in next, in the 6:30 meeting, by that time, if she still have not reviewed it, definitely Sad is also in that meeting at that time. But maybe he will have more time now to review it. But I think, but I mean, the problem is that every time reviewed, they will have their own questions, right? So if you switch a reviewer, does not mean it's going to go faster. You know what I mean? They will. So I think Michelle already getting, just getting a last set of questions. I'm hoping. Yeah,
that's what it seemed
continue.
like.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, let's wait for Michelle to review then.
Yeah, and also they may also have internal sync as well. And I know, like, Sad, Michelle, they do have internal sync about 6:30 things as well. So maybe Sad knows. Yeah, but still, I think normally every person have their own concerns. So even if Sad reviews it, you still need to make sure Michelle's concerns get addressed.
Makes sense. So how about is Michelle also at Google?
Yeah.
Okay. So that'll make it easier for them. Okay. I was just wondering. I thought she was from Red Hat for some reason.
No, she's from Google.
Okay. Wasn't there someone from Red Hat who was involved with Cozy early on?
It's Jeff. That's Jeff, right? You have been working with him.
Another person. Yeah, Jeff, I know very well. There's another person. There was a lady.
Another lady.
Erin? Erin, yeah, Erin.
But she's not active in 6:30 for quite a long time now.
Yeah.
She's in the what is that, TOC, CNCF TOC. Yeah, so she has not joined the 6:30 meeting for a very long time.
Understood. Okay. Yeah. Just wondering. Okay. All right. Good to know. I think that's all from me. If anyone has anything else, now is a good time to bring it up. Okay. I think we can end the meeting now. Thanks everyone. Let's meet again next week. And I have a good feeling about, I think there'll be progress on the review by that point.
Thanks, Sid.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.